Welcome to the Rock Solid Family Podcast. This is Merle Hutchinson, being joined by my wife and partner in Thanksgiving. We survived it, babe.
Yeah, you're talking about Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
we survived it.
We survived it. We survived it. As we speak, everyone has just kind of left the ranch.
Yes, we kind of didn't have a chance to record on Thanksgiving, so here we are.
Here we are.
So the weekend is coming to an end, and we're getting ready for the new week, and
Yeah. You know, we are thankful, right? We're thankful.
Yes,
thankful.
I am.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes, I'm thankful. Very thankful. But I had to laugh because, this show, today, we're going to talk about, how you among thousands of others always want to start the year with a word of the year.
You asked me that recently if I had my word, and I don't remember what my word was.
I remember mine.
Why? What?
Sucky.
You can't say that word on.
I just did.
No, that's wrong, honey. That's
well. Okay, give me a better word.
Stinky.
Oh, guys, this is what we struggle with. Linda wants to feminize everything.
Well,
when Linda gets mad, she says poopy. Right?
Well, okay. Well,
and
why
so, I just can't do that.
Why is this year 2024? Because we're into December now. Why has it been that word?
You start off, good intentions and everything, and things. The word actually dictates the year. Dictates the word rather than the word dictating the year.
In your world.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about yours because I know exactly what happened in yours just as well. Yeah, so I had a knee surgery that got complicated. Had a camper and that got complicated. Had family complications. What else got complicated? Oh, separated my shoulder. That got complicated.
Yeah, on a bike
ride.
Yeah.
So there were just enough things that were scattered throughout the year that I was always reminded that this is just not a fun year.
Well, that's the way Satan tries. You're such a Debbie Downer. Wow. Welcome to the Rock Solid Family Podcast.
Well, the Thanksgiving stuff is over. You guys are over.
That's neat.
Let's get real.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
No,
you're saying I'm being a whiner, huh?
Well, yeah, you are kind of a little bit, but that does kind of really lead into our show, obviously, because, there is a lot of people where this holiday season upon, the beginning of Thanksgiving is usually the beginning of the holiday season. And so for some, it really does trigger dark days and hopelessness and struggles. And so we understand that. And that's why, we're talking about being grateful even through the stinky, sucky times where life isn't going your way. I thought you were going to make fun of my toe.
I was going to let you bring that up. Yeah. So how was your actual Thanksgiving? If we want to get to the detail, she was actually wearing my shoes, guys. Should I tell people that?
And
you
of
were
course,
wearing
that's
my
when
shoes?
I was had to be up front of church and had to lead to kids, and I was like, oh, seriously, I can't hardly walk. I can't fit a shoe.
Tell everybody what you did with your toe, so they know.
Well, our daughter had this Friendsgiving, right, and she had a ton of people in the basement, and I was moving the furniture back, and one of them was an end table, and I just picked the end table up from the wrong, and I turned it the wrong end, and the drawer went flying out, and it just, my toe
fell out and
oh my
crushed your toe.
Crushed my toe. So I'm assuming it's broken, but it's purple and it's bleeding constantly.
It happened like 4 days ago, and you're still bleeding.
Yes, I am. So I'm wrapped in. It's so crazy.
It probably should have had a stitch or two.
Probably, but what? How is that possible? It was my baby toe, no less, and I have been walking around like an old lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not going to call it that word that you used, but yeah, that made it challenging.
Your toe is stinky, and my world is sucky.
No, it was challenging. It made for a challenging weekend and holiday. But again, that's kind of what we're talking about. Like, how do you find that hope? Yeah. How do you find that thankfulness, that gratefulness in the middle of hard times?
Yeah. Well, and we are joking and having some fun with this, but that is the reality. A lot of people have hard times and difficulties, but we all do. And I think part of what was the challenge for me this year, and you as well with your toe, is how do we carry on, right? How do we carry on? Because at the end of the day, and we're not trying to be cold-ring, but nobody really cares about your
nobody
knee
cared about my toe
or your toe or my shoulder, because there's other life to be lived, and you can either be the person who kind of sucks the energy out, or you can say, okay, listen, I'm going to put this in its proper place, and I am going to find the good in the day, and I don't want to minimize how hard that could be at times, but I think that that's what the show is going to be about. Like, man, how do I sometimes just shake this off and still look forward, look to some of the brightness.
Put it in proper perspective.
Yeah.
But before we get into that more, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Maxwell Construction, Casey's Outdoor Solutions, and the Hoosier Ice House for their support of what we're doing here, and really Rock Solid Families in general. And if you don't know about Rock Solid Families, if you just found us out because you searched the word Sucky or being grateful, you can find out about us at rocksolidfamilies.org. We are a marriage and family coaching organization located in the greater Cincinnati area, and we walk alongside individuals and couples and families who are going through those difficult times.
Sucky times.
I hate that word. I actually got in trouble, by the way, for using that word when I was student teaching. And I really never thought twice about it, but like
back in my house growing up, if I would have used that word, I would have gotten smacked around by my parents.
There you go, and you just put it on the World Wide Web. So there you go.
Yeah, well,
you're an adult now.
Someone's going to have to smack me.
Before we move, we also want to let you know we've been doing our Families Rock class monthly all year long. We are taking December off, so the next class is not going to be till the end of January.
That's right.
We had a great class just last week or so with a lot of families that were struggling and dealing with these difficult things that we're talking about. And so maybe you're listening for the first time and you were part of that class, but if not, and you're interested, it's a parenting class, and it's offered the last Saturday in January at the Lawrenceburg Firehouse, and we'll have more information as we come closer. You can find it on our website.
I've said this, hon, before, but I related to that class. When we agreed to do that with the courts, we really were a little bit like, oh, I wonder how this is going to be. Because we know people aren't really excited about being there on a Saturday morning, especially when it's been court ordered. Not for everyone, but some people. And I would say, for me in 2024, it's been one of my highlights because I guess because of the discrepancy of how bad it is and what they think they're going to get and what they actually get when they walk out. The spread there is so big that they walk out going, this was so much better than I ever thought. And so that's just a really great thing. And what that says is not that you and I are great, but that the material, they're so hungry for it that they want things to be better. And we just happen to be hitting them in that spot of need.
Yeah, we had one young mom who said, I realize now what kind of parent I am and what kind of parent I want to be. Yeah. And this is a mom of two little ones. And so, this is a chance to really push that reset button and start a whole new trajectory of your life. And so that's what Rock Solid Families is all about, is helping people find hope and help and healing through some of life's most difficult places. And that's why in March, we're going to be celebrating all that God has been doing over the past 7 years in March 13th. So if you are a partner of Rock Solid Families, please save the date, March 13th. It's a Thursday night. We're going to be celebrating again at the Higher Ground. Yeah, it's our banquet. And we're going to be celebrating all that God's been doing through the sucky times, through the hard times that people have had, and how they have found that hope and healing in Jesus Christ and through his word. And so we're really going to celebrate some great things God's doing.
We have a lot of good things coming up in 2025. And we'll kind of unveil some of those as they get a little bit more maturity behind them and stuff. But a lot of great plans coming together. And so excited to be able to do those things and serve more and greater. So let's get into the show.
Yes.
And disclaimer.
Yeah.
All right. Why do we have to have disclaimers a lot in our show?
Well, because people don't know where we're coming from, and people come in listening with all kinds of hurts and baggage and triggers. And so we do want a disclaimer that, we're not trying to minimize your pain. We're not trying to really rationalize or kind of undercut the difficulties you're having. We're in it with you. Yeah. We have had some family relational issues, some health issues. We're dealing with aging parents, and so we understand that life can be difficult, and we're not trying to be Pollyanna here and make it sound like everything is great in the Hutchinson home or the Rock Solid family home. So
you wouldn't be impressed with my Facebook page, people. I don't know.
But the other thing to keep in mind is that no matter where you are, no one escapes challenges.
Right.
Whether you are a Christian or an atheist, whether you're poor or rich, whether you're white or black, it doesn't matter. We all have storms.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think the interesting thing too, especially as you get older, that the storms actually reveal a lot more about yourself.
Yep.
They reveal the depth of your faith, the ability to persevere, right? Just your overall outlook in life. And so those are the things that reveal this. And, that can be a wake-up call for us. Like, man, the way I handle that is just not how I wanted to handle that. And so it's an opportunity for us to grow. So, again, like if you're going through a challenging time right now, it is a good time to kind of look in the mirror and say, how am I handling this? What can I do better? And we're going to help you to walk through some of that by just pointing you in different directions here.
Okay, I have a confession.
Yeah.
When I dropped the drawer on my toe.
Did you say poopy?
I didn't cuss, but I wasn't very happy. I mean, it's kind of like when you bang your elbow and you're just like, Well, that was when our daughter came down because she heard the big thump. She's like, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? And if I heard what happened one more time, I was going to take the drawer and toss it toward her. But she insisted on an explanation, and all I could think of was, I feel like my toe just fell off,
Yeah.
And so I was like, I dropped the stupid thing on my toe, okay? And I kind of bit at her, but I was hurting.
Yeah.
And so you're right. It kind of revealed that I had to go back and apologize to her. Like, hey, I'm sorry. I kind of snapped at you. I was not feeling very well that minute. And you were asking me a lot of questions.
Pain and emotion are very
Pain and emotion
powerful
was real.
tools.
It was real.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some practical advice.
Yeah.
How do we, I'm sure that we don't have to really go on and on anymore about people's difficulties and how things are hard. So how can we help them in this difficult time, being grateful and focusing on the positive?
I do think, and you kind of made mention of this, but I think it is really important to recognize that you are not being singled out. You're not being singled out because sometimes you can go, woe is me, right? Everybody else's life is really great and mine's not. And the truth of it is since the fall of mankind, God has told us that we would be cursed and that we would have difficult times and we would have these challenges and problems and disease and illness and sickness and all these different things. And so I think that's important because sometimes you do, especially when you feel bombarded. That happens in life, right? Like, oh my gosh, we just wrecked the car. We just lost our job. We just, they can come in these waves. But I think it's important to recognize that you're not being singled out.
Yeah.
And, there's that idea that misery loves company. And so sometimes if you don't think that anybody's holding the misery like you are holding the misery, that you are carrying the weight of the world. And that's just not the truth. The truth is all of us get our opportunity to carry that weight.
Yeah. So recognize you live in a fallen world. Number 2 is ask the right question when you're going through a storm. Like instead of why me, because that's the victim. When you hear yourself saying that, okay, you are getting yourself into a victim mentality. Okay. How about asking that question, why not me? Or what is it, God, that you want me to see in this difficult time? Like, what is my role, God? What do you want me? How do you want me to respond? Just like when I bit off my daughter's head, I knew that my job was to go back and apologize and acknowledge, like, hey, I'm sorry, I was hurting and I didn't respond to you very kindly. And so I knew that was my responsibility as a mom.
So let me ask.
Okay, what?
So when the drawer came out and smacked your toe, you were trained to not say, why me? And you were trained to say, what can I learn from this event? Right?
Not in that exact moment.
Yeah.
Although,
but there are things that you learn, right? Like next time you're going to pay attention to how you pick that thing up.
No, that's so funny. I thought you were going to ask me what I said because I don't remember. But
we all heard you as to what you said.
Do you remember when you were building a deck? When I taught at a Catholic school in Batesville, St. Louis,
my gosh,
you were building a deck with Father Rick. Remember?
Father
Rick Schneider.
Yeah.
And you two were building, was one of the teachers, a widow or a single woman. And so Do you remember when he hit his
I got to finish
hammer?
the story for you because so here I am, Father Rick, who was a fantastic guy. He was
Franciscan
a
priest,
great priest. He was so much fun. Remember,
he was
was kind of the life of the party, always a big personality. But he was a real hands-on guy too. Yeah. And so he and I got together and we were building this deck. And we were working like crazy, and we were down to like the very last decking board. And it was a little bit bowed. So here I am, and he's like, "Hey, Hutch, come over here." And I was kind of torquing the board to hold it in the right place. And he kind of knows that we need to get this done in a hurry. And he goes over and holds that nail. And I'm telling you, he was a big guy too. And he comes down and he goes to hit that nail, and instead he blows out his thumbnail. I'm not kidding you. Like the sides of his thumb just split. And I'm sitting there. He's a priest, right? He's a priest. And I feel the pain for him, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see, like, because right away I'm getting ready to cuss for him. Yeah. And right away he goes, "Holy Mary, Jesus, and Joseph, that hurt." And with that, we both start laughing, but he had probably some tears in his laughter. But it was like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. Yeah. And he let it out. Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah. So, ask the question. And yes, you're right, in the middle of that pain. But the third one is that it can trigger. Yeah. Either you're going to be the victim where you're like, then you kick the board, and throw the hammer and all that stuff because, man, it's happening to me again. Or you're empowered to handle it differently. You got to decide. And 1 Timothy 6:12 says, "Fight the good fight of the faith. Take hold of the eternal life to which you were called when you were made in the good confession in the presence of many witnesses." So fight the good fight for God in that moment of that pain.
Guys, you got to know, this is not natural for most of us, okay? It's natural to live in the human experience and to react as a human. And so this is the training. You are trained up in these things. And we oftentimes talk about in parenting and in marital relations that your impulse is a human thing and you want to get that out. But the problem is that's not probably going to be the most effective thing. And so you do have to go through training. And we talk about, the training of a police officer or the Navy SEALs or whatever. Their impulse might be to do one thing, but their training trains them to do a better thing, right? And so this is that same thing, that if you have talked with yourself and worked over years and time, like, no, like this is not what I do. Or even if we fall into it, that we can quickly back out and readdress and say, it's not the direction I want to go. And so I want to be clear that handling tough, difficult times, there is always the human response, but there is a trained response as well. And we are trained to follow Christ. We are not like, it's not natural. Okay. That's why it is that following word. I want to seek my flesh. I want to please my flesh. Yeah. And so this is a training, and it is something we can practice.
Yeah. And so that leads to number 4. And the fact is that problems, these storms, these difficulties, these difficult times, I'm not going to use that word, often provide this great opportunity to get closer to God. Like some of the strongest times in my faith have been some of the most difficult times in my faith. Right. And we actually have a sign in our office that says, when you no longer can stand, kneel. And so it's just literally getting on our knees, surrendering and turning to God. And so 1 Thessalonians 5:16 and 17 says, "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all circumstances." It doesn't say just when things are good. It says give thanks in all circumstances. And so this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you, it says. So
yeah, I think the next thing is, when you do recognize you're going through more challenging times, is to be intentional about being resourceful. Yeah. Okay. Oftentimes, and I'm guilty of this, I maybe through embarrassment, maybe through pride, I just want to go it alone. And I'll be quiet about it, and maybe there's a time for that depending on the severity and your familiarity of how to get through a challenge. But a lot of times you got to get through the pride, and you got to be able to pull your resources in, pull the troops in. And so asking for people's help and seeking strength through others. I mean, this is something that's one reason why we have a church body, and we have brotherhood and fellowship and all these things, so that we can pull people in. So don't be slow to do that.
Philippians Philippians 3:13 and 14 says, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal, which is to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." And so we got to keep pressing on. God doesn't want us to give up. A lot of times it's surrendering our way and our will for His.
Yep.
And that can be so hard, especially for somebody who's a little strong-headed, a little strong-willed, likes control.
You mean that for me or for you? I think both of us could probably fall into that.
Yeah, but I like my control. And so sometimes God is trying to help me pry whatever it is out of my hands and says, I have something better. So trust me in that. If I take it away, then it's because I have something better to give back to you. So
yeah, here's the next thing that I think is important, and you often are not going to see this on the front side of the challenge, but thank goodness for challenges, all right? Because it's on the backside of challenges is actually where you see the strength that you had the chance to develop, and often we do develop. We see that we're better for what we went through. Now, again, at the beginning, you're never going to say that, but how often, hun, do we hear, at the time it was the worst thing in the world for me, but on the backside, I'm thankful that I went through that, because maybe it made me more convicted in my prayer life, or committed to a relationship, or changed a behavior, a habit of mine. But whatever it is, it was a thing that pushed me to a better place. And so we often will become stronger and better people on the backside. And if I can know that, and hun, I've had this talk with many people. They'll come in to a session, and I'm at the front end of their problem, right? And we start to make a little headway, and maybe we get, X number of sessions in, and I start to say, hey, I know this is a little premature for you to hear, but I have to tell you, you're going to use this for something way greater than what you feel right now. You're whether they're going to be counseling somebody else, pulling somebody else through, and they're going to be better at it than what even we could be as trained counselors, because they're going to have a real personal experience that's going to create the motivation to really delve into people's issues.
In Isaiah 61, it says that God makes beauty out of ashes. And so He takes that ugly stuff, that hard stuff, maybe even things were burned down, and fire in the storm, and He brings beauty out of it. And so, when we work out a lot in our office, we'll play that song, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." It's like they don't feel that way when they're about ready to die and pass out. But what doesn't
it reminds me of the phrase we hear a lot: "Let your mess be your message, or turn into your message."
Your testimony. Yeah.
So
for sure.
So those are powerful things. On the seventh thing here, the last thing we want to talk about is, through all of these difficulties, God is actually crying out. He is crying out. He wants your heart. And so we hear these discussions all the time. Why does God let bad things happen, and all these kinds of things? And, I don't know. I'm not going to act like I do know why He lets all bad things happen, and why people are going through certain things. But what we do know is God is giving us constant opportunities to give Him our heart. To basically, as you used the word before, surrender. To surrender your way for His ways, and to just say, I don't know, I give up. This one is on you, Lord, right? Yeah. And so I think more than anything, that's what we have to recognize. It is our pride that keeps us stuck. And when we finally get beyond our own resources, if we don't go to Him, we're going to find hopelessness out of us. All right. And so it's really important that we move through that.
Yeah. We were teaching our little guys this weekend about hope and what we hope in, and our hope is in the Lord. And so we had just kindergarten, first graders, so they had to do hope with the thumbs up or nope with the thumbs down. And so what are you putting your hope in? And one of them was, I hope the Bengals win. And we're like, nope. You don't. It's like we don't want to put our hope in something that is fleeting, or it's temporary, or it's not God's. Like, the big one was, I hope for a Nintendo Switch, or I hope for, this gaming system or whatever. And so it's like, no, we don't want to put our hope in, because that's what disappoints, when we put our hope in things that are not of God. And so our hope is in the Lord. And I think of Romans 8. I want to start with verse 22, because this is crazy that we're talking about this. It says in Romans Romans 8:22, we know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. So there's a lot of groaning, a lot of moaning, a lot of complaining over here.
Don't stop pointing at me like that.
Well, because you were talking about your knee and your shoulder. Not only so, but we ourselves who have the first fruits of the Spirit groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for the adoption to sonship and the redemption of our body. So we all, even as Christians, are waiting for something. And it says, but for in this hope we were saved. But hope that is seen is no hope at all. You don't hope for things you already have.
Right.
Okay. Who hopes for what they already have? Verse 4 says, but if we hope for what we do not have, we wait for it patiently. And so he talks about this hope. Our hope is in the Lord. Our hope is in heaven. It's not here. We were talking with the kids, like this is just a temporary tent, he says. Mm-hmm. This is not our home. And so we got to hope for something that is eternal, something that can't let us down.
Yeah. Hey guys, as we said at the beginning, we don't want to minimize your problems or anybody's problems. What we do want to do is encourage you to find a better way through a lot of these problems. Okay, we could all stand around here and share our hardships, all right? And there's definitely a place to voice and vent a lot of that. Okay. That's that lamenting, getting that out. But then we are called to do something with it. And mostly we're called to honor God with our pain and our suffering, okay, and to invite him in. And so we want to be an encouragement in that way. We want to help in the training to be able to do that, right? It's maybe not my first impulse, but is something I can be trained into doing and to get better and better at it and to see how it can actually pull us through. So we just want to be an encouragement to that. All right.
And if you're stuck in that hopelessness, if you're stuck in those hurts and that disappointment and the suckiness that Merle was describing.
You just said it.
I know. But
I finally pulled you down to my level.
But my point is that there is hope and there is help. And so please reach out to us at rocksolidfamilies.org. We work with people in the greater Cincinnati area in our office, but really all over the world, in the country, via Zoom. And so we can meet with you, we can help you, because you don't have to settle for, I won't say the word, but you don't have to settle for the difficulties. You don't have to settle for the hurt and the pain. You can find hope and you can find help through whatever you're going through, so that you can really enter this season, this holiday season, with joy and with peace and with hope. We want that for you.
All right, guys. So, hey, I'm going to catch you off guard. What's your word for 2025? We're not there yet. This is not our end of the year show.
Well,
but
according to you, I have to wait till the end of 25.
See, I'm going to let the year
dictate the word.
Year finally defines it. But and it doesn't mean we shouldn't go in with a right goal set of trying to do those things. But a lot of times, life just is going to have its way with us in terms of things that happen. So we don't have as much control over a lot of those things that we'd like. But so anyway, guys, we do want to thank you. We want to thank our sponsors again. We want to thank Maxwell Construction, Casey's Outdoor Solutions, and the Hoosier Ice House for being part of our programming here at Rock Solid Families. Check us out at rocksolidfamilies.org to see what we're offering and what's going on, as we got new and great things coming on, especially as we walk into 2025 soon. So let us know if we can help. Our office number is 812-576-7625. Hun, you want to close us out?
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the Rock Solid Families podcast. Building a stronger community, one family at a time. Make it a great day.
Rock Solid Families wants to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions for sponsoring the Rock Solid Families podcast. Casey's has grown to be one of the largest and most unique garden centers and gift shops in the Cincinnati tri-state area. Whether you are looking to take on that next landscape project or simply add a little home decor to your house, Casey's has you covered. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Call them today at 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home. Rock Solid Families wants to thank Maxwell Construction for sponsoring the Rock Solid Families podcast. For over 30 years, Maxwell Construction has been a leader in turning dreams into realities, building schools, banks, restaurants, and many other commercial and public facilities. Maxwell Construction has made it their priority to not just build buildings, but to build into their community. So if you have any construction needs, call them at 812-537-2200.
Rock Solid Families would like to thank Hoosier Ice House for being a proud sponsor of the Rock Solid Families podcast. In the heart of historic Lawrenceburg, Indiana, the Ice House is at the corner of Vine and High Streets. The historic building evokes a feeling of comfort with spacious indoor and outdoor dining, a large bar, and comfortable dining areas. Large enough to host parties, yet intimate enough to feel like your favorite neighborhood restaurant. So thank you again for the Hoosier Ice House for sponsoring the Rock Solid Families podcast.